Okay, recording this video after close trade Thursday, the 25th of May 2017. And a little bit of good news today. The Ninja 8 version of the multiple time frame beta indicators is now available. Finally, it has taken a while, but they've been tested for a couple of weeks. We've got all the bugs out and they're available. So if you're a subscriber to the multiple time frame indicators, just go to your account page, log in and download the installer for Ninja 8. Close your Ninja 8, run the installer, and then when you reopen Ninja 8, the multiple time frame indicators will be available. And I must admit, I'm not over the years been a huge fan of Ninja Trader, but the Ninja Trader 8 charts look pretty good. I'm quite impressed. I don't think they're going to change my view and get me to swap from TradeStation to Ninja Trader, but I do think they have made a big improvement in Ninja 8 as opposed to Ninja 7. So it's a more intuitive platform to work with. The charts, as I say, look really good. Yeah, so well done, Ninja Trader. So let's talk E-mini and some E-mini charts. Finally today, Thursday's activity, we got a little bit of range. It has just been slow and low range and low volume and just awful last 3 days. But on Thursday's activity, we've got a decent bit of range. This is my little range indicator, dividing the days up into high, medium, low range. Today's activity, we had about 12 points of range during the day session. That's only just crept into the average, but substantially better than these last 3 days, which were really low values. I think we got down to something like, what was this one? 7.5 points of range. Geez, I mean, that's just awful. Almost untradeable, I find, during days like that. And as soon as the day starts off really slow and it's hardly moving, I just get my toes get a tingling sensation, and I think I better not trade today because there is nothing going to happen. So after having some nice kind of big ranging days, we finally get an average ranging day, and that kind of felt good. What have we done in the last few days? So last video I put out, I think it was about, 10 days ago almost, and saying, watch out, we could have a sell-off. We couldn't get through 2400, and that was the activity that we had after that. And they just caught us, We had exhaustion sell, blue professional bars kind of came in, cyclical support and better sine wave on the daily chart kind of comes in, and we've just kind of kept on and powered through 2400. They did it in the overnight session. That's where they kind of broke us up with today's activity, but they held us above 2400 finally. So, it stretched its legs above 2400, and that's where we got to. It's a fairly decent reading on better momentum over the last several days. So let's see what that does to us. But this little sell-off activity just looks like so many little sell-offs that we've had, over the last, several months, where it's just a couple of down days. We get stopped with exhaustion sells and blue professional bars, and we just power to new highs. So let's wait and see. In the overnights, it's kind of weakened a little bit. This is today's activity on the multiple time frame view. This is the overnight where they gapped us up. Well, not gapped us, but they kind of forced us up through the 2400 kind of area here. We settled into a whole bunch of supports. This was a nice triple going on here, and that's where I got in long at 8 even, and we broke up above this kind of new high, and I put my target up here and I got out at 13 for 5. So it was a nice trade for me. There was quite a little bit more in it as we ran pullback to end of trend, but that's what they were doing. And then we had a little bit of sell-off. We got caught 11 a.m. You can see all these Rambo patterns. Rambo's into those highs, Rambo's here and Rambo's here. That's a Rambo to Rambo channel. So they were buying the breakout here, and then when it started to weaken, they were kind of getting scared out and also going short here. And then when it got held at that point, they were forced out on the way back up here. So that's kind of a typical kind of activity with lots of amateur bars kind of driving these extremes here. Then towards the end of the day, that 11 a.m. window shut. We didn't have a reversal day. We break to new highs, and there we go with another exhaustion pattern just above the highs that we made about 10 in the morning. Anyway, so what does this look like on the 4500 tip bar chart? There we go. This is the last several days activity, and this is the sell-off that we had. We couldn't get through 2400s. We've got our exhaustion patterns, a whole bunch of enter trends kind of lined up together here, and we fell off into this downtrend. That's the white bars showing the weakness. We got exhaustion sells on the downside. We made pullback to end of trends on a few time frames here. We held and we started to break into this uptrend. You can see all the strength that we've had with these red bars ever since. And then now we've kind of flipped to the other side. So more pullback to end of trends on the lowest time frame. We've got a couple in there on the lowest time frame. We've still got to make pullback to end of trend on the intermediate and probably the highest time frame here. But we have had exhaustion buy and bearish divergence come in. So we're going to have a little bit of weakness and trouble kind of from here, I would imagine. This isn't going to turn into a downtrend until we get that pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, and we get a little white dot similar size to this one on the upside here. So still going to see some catching of supports and driving up into testing those highs before we turn over. I will tag on my day trade. It was a nice little one because it was one of those kind of triples that's set up here. You can see that there. There's all the strength we had into that triple. And we started to break up here, and that was a nice little kind of long trade into there. The other charts that at the end of today look kind of interesting are bonds. We are making a little bit of gathering pattern. Blue professional bars kind of come in here. So you can see we had the sell-off in bonds was caught. This is the 30-year daily data. Pullback to end of trends. Come in here, the low, intermediate, and the highest time frame support kind of comes in, and that's when we start to rally. And so we're breaking into potentially strength above a resistance line here. But this is what I'm interested in. A whole bunch of blue professional bars just sitting under that resistance, kind of waiting to bust up through a couple of different resistance on the lowest and the intermediate time frame. And that would show some real strength to the upside. So because they're holding at that point there, you can see that's a little gathering pattern. And the same thing happening on the 10-year. Some blue professional bars kind of sitting under resistance or breaking above resistances. Here, the multiple time frame view is showing a little bit more strength. And here is the 5-year. Same deal, blue professional bars sitting under resistance, just waiting for that little pop to the upside. And you can see it's still showing a little bit of weakness at the moment, but as soon as we pop above those resistances, that'll break us into kind of strong uptrends on those charts. So let's wait and see if that's what we're going to happen. I don't think we're going to kind of roll over, because typically if you have a rollover pattern, you get a little bit of a spike, blue professional spike, and then we kind of immediately kind of go over. As soon as we're holding like this and more blue professional bars kind of come in with smallish range and sitting under resistance, that's showing that that's a little bit of a flag kind of waiting to break up above these resistances. So that's what I'll be looking for in the next couple of days with some more strength in bonds. And let's see, if that has a kind of counter impact on equities. But I think that equities, weakness has still got a little bit of time to run before that kind of plays itself out. Anyway, so there we go. Hope your trading is going well. And again, if you're a Ninja 8 user, you can now get into the multiple time frame version of the indicators for Ninja 8. And let me know what you think. Hopefully you've got no kind of technical issues, but if you do, just shoot me an email and we'll try and get those sorted out. Okay, just got long 8 even, 24.08 even. And what a runaway overnight. We had almost nothing happen the last couple of days, really low ranges. And then overnight, we went through 2400s after FOMC. Bang. Anyway, the reason for going long is cyclical support on the 4500s come in here to pull back in an uptrend. And we got caught by support. It's actually a triple, so we got support, support, support going on. We got a nice little blue professional down bar kind of here holding us on 1500, couple there on 45, and then this little move here. Do not want a slow day like yesterday, because if it kind of slows down, that will show the range is going to be pretty bad. So hopefully we're going to keep up a little bit of speed that we've got so far today, but come on, let's break out of this thing. System-wise, showing strength. Here's the overnight activity with that kind of move. We've come down, settled in, and hopefully we're taking off, and my target's at 12 even, sitting up here, and that number is 12.5, so maybe that's the right place, maybe a 1.5 high. So triple supports in there. You can see the numbers, they're just off screen, but 6.25, 6.25, and 5 3/4. Sitting right together. Big things happen when there are triples. They either hold and we have a nice move, or they break and we have a nice move. So Nice blue professional bar, and there was another blue professional bar on the 4500. Another reason to kind of be interested in this area kind of catching. There's another one just gone off here, so maybe they're buying it up in a bit of a frenzy there. Let's hope. So let's see what happens next. Alright, we just had a number come out, Consumer Comfort Index, 8:45 AM. Seems to have given us a little bit of a jolt to the upside. I've moved my target out to 1350, just as it was sitting at 12, and this number is 12.5, so maybe on a stop run we can get up to a point above. Just a bit nervous of moving in any more than that. Anyway, let's see. All of a sudden now blue professional up bars from 4500. You know, maybe signaling a little bit of profit taking instead. It's not usual this kind of activity to be, I know, setting up for higher things. Maybe we've got a lot more to go today, because it's decided to get through 2400 finally and just really stretch its legs for a while. Anyway, let's see how close we get to 2412. It's a 10,000 read on better momentum on 1500, fairly sizable. We're above resistance now, so this has probably got to go pull back in the trend, but we'll have resistance coming at some point on 1500. Alright, we just got to 1150. Just having a little think, we're sitting underneath this 12.5 number. We've got our exhaustion buy in, and we've got cyclical resistance still to come in on 1500. This is running pullback end of trend. This should run to a little pullback to end of trend on 1500. You'd have thought once all those things kind of line up, we're going to certainly run out of a little steam because of this, but let's hope. 12 was the initial target, and you know, there's blue professional bars here, but there's not a heap on 1500, and there's certainly not a heap on 500, and you expect to see, you know, multiples of them starting to come in to show exiting and profit taking. So yep, still holding 13.5 is where I got my target. So alright, Rambo, there's a bearish divergence now. Do not like that. That can often be just, you know, marking the absolute end when that pops up. But alright, seemingly we've held. We've got a bunch of blue professional bars. 1, 2, 3, it's that 4 in a row there on 1500, extraordinary. So because we're breaking the highs of that, they bought that dip rather than being seen kind of getting out on the way up. They seem to have bought this little dip, so maybe there's more confidence it's got further to go. So 1175, that was the high up here, and I think we just touched it there. Yep. So a little bit of a double top just gone off. There's another blue professional bar there. There's a heap of them here. 1350s, the target, the initial target was at 12, but I've moved it out. We're going pullback. I think that's going to be end of trend just there. Alright, looks like we're going to go through. There's such thing as a triple top, so 1175 just got hit 3 times. They don't exist, so we're going to spike through. Take us into 12 at 12.5. Maybe there are stops to run, so I get a little bit of luck to take us through to 1350. There we go. So we've got a 12. Come on, come on. Certainly there's a lot of profit taking just going on here. So anyway, 12.25. So initial target's just been hit. Come on. Alright, so come on, 1250 is here. And that's this previous high. So just touching above it should start some kind of little melt up or stop run. Come on, come on. Okay, 1275. Okay, 13.25 at 1350. Am I get taken out? Come on. Let's come back down to 13. So that little jump, that was the stop run. So it's a ramp pattern on 15. That's really important. Come on. 1350 is shown. There's quite a few of us there at 1350. Alright, just out 13 even. I just moved my target. we're probably going to go, yeah, I think we're going to go 1350, but just lost my bottle there. So out at 1345, excellent, one shot, one kill. Yeah, I think this is just going to spike up to 1350, but just a little bit too nerve-wracking for, yeah, it's gone it again. There's a heck of a lot sitting there at 1350. Anyway, good done. What is that? 9:15 a.m. Chicago time. So a little bit nerve-wracking through this business here, but we got there. Excellent.